What's up, y'all? It is Tasha back with another video. Thank you so much for stopping into my channel. Before you get out of here today, do not forget to hit the thumbs up button, comment below, and of course, hit that subscribe button. It's somewhere probably right over there. Go ahead, hit it, okay? So you don't miss out on any videos. All right. So sorry about the appearance. I just wanted to get this done because I know if I didn't do it right now, I was not going to do it. And if I didn't do it today, I was just going to not do it, okay? But I wanted to come back and talk to y'all really quickly about the Married at First Sight after party this week. So I just watched the episode and just took a few notes that I want to just come here and chat with y'all about, okay? So we have Lindsay and Chris. They are on the after party with Keisha Knight Pulliam this week. She asked Chris how he is feeling. He says he has a lot of feelings, and he said in the past he's really had a hard time knowing when to quit, which is why he did the show, because he figured, of course, we'll both be in it. I really wouldn't necessarily have to quit. So we definitely see why Chris continues to just go for it and go for it and go for it, because he really has a hard time just throwing in the towel and knowing when to stop. So they recap the disagreement between Chris and Alyssa after they played tennis. You know how she got mad at him for pointing, and then she was down at with the producers that night, just going on and on and on. Keisha asked Chris how he felt, and he said, it was a really crappy way to talk to somebody, as he's now watching it back, and says, how can you say things like that and then in the next breath say you're a nice person? Like, those are completely opposite and two separate things. And we see it, Chris. So we on your side. We are here for it, because you can't say you nice and then you constantly say these god awful things about someone you basically still do not know at this point. They asked if they talked off camera, and he said yes, that they would have both conversations on camera and off camera, but really off camera, it went nowhere, just kind of like the conversations on camera. Lindsay says she really feels like Chris took the high road, and Alyssa really just doesn't want to give him the time of day. And really, Chris hung out with Mark and Lindsay most of the time. She said they kind of had a little throuple going on. Like, at least the man had a good time. They recap Alyssa meeting with Katina and Jasmina, and Chris says that he thought since the night of the wedding that she was not attracted to him, but she just won't say it. He says he doesn't hold it against her that he is not her type. He just was like, why won't you just say it? But I'm like, Chris, you admitted it here, and we know that you know from what you've said in the show. You know, you don't necessarily have to have her say it. You know exactly how she feels. So stop putting yourself through this torture of just say it, just say it. I just want her to say it. I just want her to say it. I just want it to come out her mouth. We already know. We already know. It's okay. It is okay. Call it quits. It's all right. Lindsay and Chris say that when they went to the city hall to sign the marriage license, Chris said he asked for her number. And this heifer said, no, I know where to find it if I need it. What? You don't know this man. So how? I guess you think because we just all gonna be on the honeymoon, if I feel like hanging with you, then I'll know where to find you. But if I don't reach out to me. Girl. And then he says that they were sitting with the officiant ready to actually sign the papers. And the officiant is like, do y'all want to get married, thinking it's a celebration? And he'll get to say I do, and she'll get to say I do, and they'll sign the papers and things. That Chris was like, he said I do, and she just sat there. Now, mind you, this was after they had already signed the papers, and the officiant is now coming to sign the papers. So I'm like, again, Alyssa, stop playing in our face. Stop playing in Chris' face. You knew from jump how you felt. Why did you proceed to sign these papers? I don't care what amount of money it is that I'm getting. If I know I don't like somebody and this is going to be a horrible experience for me, I'm not going to put myself through that. If I got to break the contract and pay back whatever money I have to pay back, hindsight, I'm sure she wished she just would have done that than coming on national TV looking like the ass that she is every single week. Yeah, I bet it ain't worth the check now for everybody in these internet streets to be talking about you. Now, is it? Now, is it, Alyssa? Girl. So him and Lindsay can agree that she was talking to lawyers basically from jump, saying that she was trying to find a way out of the marriage. They get onto the flight and Chris is thinking, oh, this is a 4-hour flight. We've only talked for about 45 minutes since the wedding because, you know, she had a little tantrum right after the reception. So he's like, we got 4 hours on the flight, no cameras, no anything. We really have time to talk and get to know each other. This child of a woman gets a producer to sit in between them on the flight so she does not have to, I'm sure, talk to this man, sit next to this man, look at this man. I don't say I hate people, but I really dislike Alyssa, like extremely dislike Alyssa. They then talk about Lindsay and Mark and him receiving 1 million calls from his landlord during the honeymoon. Lindsay said that she probably did this because she was really afraid to lose him. So she decided, instead of kind of losing him to Lindsay in this marriage, maybe I'll just push him out instead. This lady even threw him an engagement party. And I'm just like, how do things change so quickly from you being like a mother figure? He's like a son to you. He lives in your house complex, whatever it is. You threw an engagement party for him. You are at the wedding with him. And then on the honeymoon, it just flips. I think the landlord want Mark, or Mark was giving her maybe some type of benefits that she's not going to get any longer now that he is married. Something going on with that relationship. That's all I got to say. It's a little bit weird. Keisha does ask Lindsay if the relationship with his landlord is a little bit weird to her. And she's like, yeah, a few of Mark's relationships seem a little bit weird to me, because she also tells us about one of Mark's friends, which is a female, which is also married, that kept calling him and texting him a lot during the honeymoon as well. You know, asking him what he's doing, saying that she loves him, reached out to Lindsay and was like, you know, I'm his best friend and this is what he likes and this is what he doesn't like. I'm like, Mark, you need to set some boundaries with the people in your life. If you want to be married and all into this with Lindsay, I'm going to need you to set some people straight about where they now sit in your life. Okay? Because this friend minding the business that ain't hers, I ain't here for it, okay? She says that she just has second thoughts about, you know, immediately when they found out everything that was going on with his apartment. And she's like, oh, you can move in with me, bring your stuff. We'll get it figured out as soon as we get back. She was like, her second thought was, I don't really know this man. I just met this man and I just did all this. And I'm like, I'm glad you thought about that after the fact, because in the moment of the show, all of us thought that of, girl, you don't know this man. And again, bed bugs. You don't want to bring all this crap into your house, and then now y'all got them cats with all that fur. They definitely would not be coming in my house, because you know bed bugs got to be in their fur if they are still sitting at that apartment. Couldn't be me. Okay. Chris was asked if it was different when he hung out with just Alyssa instead of the group, and he said it wasn't much time alone other than them doing activities. And anytime he would try to make conversations with her, she was a bit nicer, but he thinks really it was because when they were, you know, alone and kind of there were no cameras, it was a lot less pressure for her to really try to explain what the hell was going on with them, because they knew when they were then going to get together with the group, it was really going to be about, so how are things going, how are things progressing, what's going on when y'all get back home. So he knew then she would of course have to have answers, but when they weren't in those settings, then she can basically BS her way through it. He does say that the best part of the honeymoon for him was, you know, getting to spend time with everybody else, and he really enjoyed the scuba diving. So I'm glad that between all the hell Alyssa put him through, he still had a good time on the honeymoon. They then recapped the dinner with all the couples on the last day in PR, where Chris said he just wanted to get married and have kids within the last few years. Keisha asked if she thought it was odd to really talk about kids a week in, and they both can agree, well, it's odd to get married to a stranger. And I'm like, point taken, touche. Lindsay says she is seeing some red flags with the landlord, but really only time will tell on how Mark will be as a dad if they decide to go that route. Again, Chris says the conversations with the group are always different than when they are alone. He says it's really hard for him with the group because he's really trying to find some way that he can contribute to the conversation, because the rest of the couple seem that they are getting along so well and things are kind of progressing. So a lot of time the conversations that they're having he really has no input to provide because his is just not moving at all, pretty much at this point. Lindsay says she is really uncomfortable in group situations, especially in groups of people that she does not know that well. Keisha asks who they think stirs the pot the most when they are together as a group. And Lindsay is like, probably me. And Chris can agree. It's probably her. And we all can agree. It's probably her. She says because she's, authentic. She's very straightforward, that really times she just, says whatever. And of course, we've seen that. And that can sometimes come back to bite you in the ass, Lindsay, because, these people don't know you that well. So, yeah. They finally discuss Alyssa and her nonsense with wanting to split the apartment in town with the couples, like it's some custody battle between divorced parents. Keisha asks what he is thinking in this moment, and he says, this is one instance where, she starts to say she is here for the experience and really not for the process, and he thinks it's completely ridiculous, and we all completely agree. Lindsay said in that moment she wanted to tell Alyssa, get the F out of here. We all wanted to tell Alyssa, get the F out of here in this moment. And she says Alyssa really doesn't care about anyone and she is just as fake as those lips. And I said, Lindsay, girl, I don't always like you, but when it comes to Alyssa, we see each other, in the words of Nene Leakes, okay? We see each other. I am always here for the shade thrown at Alyssa because she deserves it at this point. Let's be real. Lindsay said in the end, she felt a little bit overwhelmed as they were leaving the honeymoon because of all the work they had to do so soon. So, of course, with his landlord calling and all that, it's like as soon as they get back home, they can't necessarily adjust to getting back into or joining each other in the shared apartment. They kind of really have to deal with him being evicted in the moment, the bed bugs, getting the stuff out, getting the stuff to her place, and then moving into the shared apartment. So it's already moving fast, but it's moving really, really fast when they get back home. Chris said at the end of the honeymoon, he is thinking, he'll stay on track. He'll still move into the apartment. She can move in if she wants to, because a part of this experience was him telling himself that he will follow through on everything. So he says he's keeping his word to himself. And he continues to say that if she just gives him 1%, he's all in. And I really want Chris to stop selling himself short all of the time. Somebody giving you 1% does not mean they are worthy of 100% from you. I don't care. 1% does not equal 100%. Maybe if you give me 1% and I say I want to give you 10%, that's different. But you cannot expect the bare minimum from someone and then you are ready to be all in, because in the end, you are going to end up doing more damage to yourself that you're going to have to recover from before you jump into another relationship. And quite frankly, Alyssa ain't worth negative 1% from anybody at this point, and especially not Chris, okay? Anyway, y'all, that was the after party. I feel like now with Keisha hosting it, well, to be honest, I didn't watch it all that much with Jamie because I just felt Jamie didn't really ask the tough questions and really hold people's feet to the fire about what was going on in the episode. And I really feel like Keisha does. So with this, I feel like we get more information, especially that we don't get on the show. And we really get to see these people be called out for the behavior that you just showed on TV, what you got to say about it. And that's what I want to know. I want to know about the things that we don't see and hear, and I don't want it to be just a bunch of fluff, okay? All right, so I don't know if I'll do this every week, but when I do feel like we're getting really good tidbits of information from the after party, we'll come back with a quick little video to discuss. So let me know y'all thoughts below if y'all watched the video. But again, still at this time, I'm side-eyeing producers, experts, everybody. Because if everybody knew, especially if Chris and Lindsay knew, everybody knew because Lindsay gonna tell everybody. If she is trying to get out of the marriage before they even leave to go on the honeymoon, basically the second she signs the papers, why do we continue to coddle her and let her come on this free vacation and let her come to a free shared apartment? We know she ain't here to be married, so why is she still here? Why? Okay? We're going to leave it at that, y'all, and I'll catch y'all next week. Peace.